What's going on, everybody? I wanted to show off my launchbox here. Just a quick little video. This launchbox, what launchbox is, it's a place to keep all your emulator games. It's pretty sweet. It's, I love old games. I've always loved old games. I have a couple old systems, but sometimes it just gets so expensive trying to keep up with it. Like, my TurboGrafx collection, these games are uber expensive, super expensive. So, the next best thing is to emulate it. And what Launchbox does is it puts everything all in one, I guess, front end, you can call it. And it's pretty sweet. It's a place to, I have the MAME games. You can just launch them right off from here. Just double click it and it goes. The DOS games, which is pretty sweet, so you don't have to mess with DOSBox. It does everything for you. I could double click one of these. I could double click Jazz Jackrabbit and it should just pop right up and just do its thing, which is pretty sweet. And you're out. And the same goes for if I wanted to crank up a TurboGrafx games. Like they recommend you use the RetroArch, but I'm still using the Magic Engine. And, same deal. Instead of having to open a new emulator, you just double click and you're off to the next game. You pair this with a couple of USB controllers. I have the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, and it's pretty sweet. And I also have like the USB Nintendo controller and the Super Nintendo controllers and the PlayStation controller. I still need to get me a 64 controller. But you can, it's pretty neat to be able to have the actual picture. It makes it more personal to have the actual pictures and, the box art. You can flip it around and read it, and then you can get a little bit of information on the game. Tell you all about, all about the game itself. A couple screenshots. It's pretty cool. And this here is the the free version. I plan on getting the paid version, which has a few more perks to it, I suppose. But you can keep all your collections in one certain spot. It was kind of hard, like with the Sega Genesis is where I started on. I had no idea what I was doing. Some of these I downloaded manually. The names weren't right when I had the ROMs put in there, so instead of The Adventures of Batman and Robin, it would just say Batman dot whatever. So I had to rename everything, and this is what, 778 Sega Genesis games, and I think I had to rename almost all of them, just so that I can get the box art and the information in there. I mean, totally worth it though. I mean, it's so much cooler to just, double click a game instead of opening this emulator, that emulator. I mean, if you get a chance, check it out. Like I said, this is the free version. I plan on, I think it's $20 and you can get the full version. I mean, there's no ads pop up or anything like that. Sometimes, like, I don't know why too, sometimes like I'll double click like some of the Sega Genesis games, for example. For some reason it had it set up to like the different emulators, so it's super easy to go in and change it. I'll show you right now. Like, let me see. Like, for example, I'll grab a random game and hold on a second here. Like, I can right click it, you can edit them, and you got your additional apps, which I really don't know what it is. DOSBox, that's where I guess you would set that up. The ScumVM, I still have to set that one up. But like this one, for example, this emulator, it's set for frickin' RetroArch, which I don't use. I use Kega. You just easily switch it over, hit OK, and you're ready to play. It's pretty cool. I highly recommend it. This is where it's at if you're gonna emulate. This is where you go. This is how you do it. Like, my folders are a complete mess. They're a complete mess when it came to emulation. I would have this emulator, that emulator, like 7 different MAMEs, like 3 different N64s. And this is, you know, somewhere to keep everything all in one spot. You know, and like I said, it makes it a little more personal that you have the picture in front of you, you have the information, you know, pair it with the USB controller, and it's a pretty sweet deal. You know, you got your Sega CD, play some of these old jams here. You know, and I can't really afford, like, if I was gonna buy any of these, like, I was watching a video, and dude said he paid, like, for a 32X game, he paid like $300. I just can't do that. You know what I mean? I don't have the money to do that. So, I mean, if I want to bust out some old school Lunar, you know what I mean, on the Sega CD, you know what I mean, I'd rather, you know, this is where I play most of my games anyway. I'm right here in front of my computer, tearing it up, you know what I mean? Might as well just get it, emulate it, and, you know, this makes it pretty cool to just bust it all out in one spot, you know what I mean? You know, and you got your Super Nintendo, this, wow, Jesus, 590 games. You know, and instead of going through just a little list and kind of picking out what you're going to play, you know, some of these games I haven't even, you know, I've never even played. I don't think I've ever played Congo Escaper before, but now, you know, I see the box art and I'm like, oh, you know, I'll check it out, check out the freaking information on it, you know what I mean, if it's any good, you know, give it a shot. You got your PlayStation 2, I mean, and there's more. I think anything you can emulate you can bust on here. And then, yeah, like I said, there's a paid version. I plan on getting that. I'll make another video once I get that. But I mean, just for free, this is where it's at. This is the deal right here. You know, I'll put a link in the description on where you can download this. But this is the way to go. I mean, this paired with my Game Room app, you know, it puts everything all together. You know what I mean? This was, I think, this one was a nightmare too. This was freaking, what, 810 games. And I had to go and redo some of these just because of the names. So I highly recommend, if you do this, make sure your ROMs are named properly so that it'll find all the information. If not, you'll have to go in there and rename it. You know, you have to go in there and you have to edit it. You have to rename it. And then it has this cool little deal right here that'll just, you know, search their database and find all the proper information for it. Totally worth it. Totally cool. You know, like I said, this one right here, this is free. You know what I mean? This is just, you know, double click and you're playing freaking Blaster Master, which is one of my all-time favorite games, as a matter of fact. You know, you can't go wrong. You can't beat it. This is the coolest. You know what I mean? You know, you got all these games all in one spot. And like I said, I could show you. Let me minimize this. I'll show you, like, if I get down to my emulators folder, I mean, it's just a mess, and I always hated going through it. And this was my solution right here. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'll put the link in. You know what I mean? And if you dig it, you know what I mean, just go ahead and download it. And it's, you know, depending on how you have your ROM set up, it might be a little bit of a setup, but well worth it. Super worth it. You know what I mean? I just thought I'd you know, show this off, let you check it out. Alright, cool. Thanks.